verse for the week, Psalm 145. But before we get there, I want to tell you that maybe you've experienced this, whether you are a parent or not, but especially with parents. Maybe you've experienced this. You had something that you loved growing up, that you thought was awesome, and you wanted to then share that with somebody. My parents loved Spam growing up, and they thought that I was going to love it, but no. I will tell Cooper, I'll go, Cooper, I've had the best barbecue. You need to try this. And he's like, nah. Sometimes he just loves it, all right? Like when we introduced him to the Little Rascals movie, oh my goodness. He cackles and cackles. It's the only movie we've ever bought because everything you can stream, but that you can't. That, and he watches it all the time. But then when I introduced him to Angels in the Outfield, he didn't really care that much, right? We have these things that we want to share, and we say, man, this is the best movie. This is the best ice cream. And you're like, Brahms is the best ice cream. And then we've grown our kids up to go, well, Jenny's is actually a little bit better. And you're like, what have we done as a society, right? Why have we spoiled them, And so we have all these things that are the best. And for the last week, my whole purpose with your kids and with our church is to show you and remind you that God is the best. And yet, how many of us live in a way that is underwhelmed by that truth? How many of us are underwhelmed by the God of the universe who wants to have a relationship with you? How many of us have heard God is the best, but in reality, we move on from it? And so my question this morning is simply this: do you believe that God is the best? Do you believe that God is the best? And really, it's not just a head knowledge question. Does your life live out that God is the best? Is the way that you live. See, I imagine everyone in this room, whether you were a parent of one of the children up here or whether you just enjoyed watching them, I imagine every single one of you in this room wants every kid on this stage to know that God is the best. That He is the best Savior, rescuer, forgiver, teacher, leader, listener. You want that to be the case. You want them to have heaven for eternity. You want them to experience joy and peace and patience and goodness here on this earth. It's why we teach kids very early. The first songs that they learn is, Jesus loves me, this I know. Why? For the Bible tells me so. It's why we do these things. It's why parents, we had 75 kids show up to this thing. It's why parents send their kids to a camp so that they can learn God is the best. But what are they learning at home? Are you living in a way that reflects that God is the best? That He's the best leader of your life? That He's the best one to turn to in troubled times? That He's the best listener, and so you pray to Him, and He's the best teacher, and so you live in response to Him? Do you really believe that Jesus loves you? Do you really believe in a hell and a heaven? And that they are vastly different? Do you really believe that life under God's rule is filled with love and joy and peace and patience and kindness and goodness and faithfulness, gentleness and self-control? Do you believe that? See, the thing that these kids need most, more than a church, more than a camp, more than a children's ministry, more than a VeggieTales episode, they need a mom and dad who believe that God is the best and live like it. I'm not here to shame you this morning. I fail my 8-year-old constantly. As I raise my voice, as I lose my patience, as I show him that Alabama football, because I went to the University of Alabama, means more than spending time with him. How can we live this at home? I'm not here to shame you. I'm here to invite you to remember that God actually is the best for you as well. that the same God that's the best for your children, that you want to know that for your children, is the one that you need to know as well. And I'm not just talking about some distant situation of after you die. I'm talking about God is the best for today. And Him leading our life today matters. Our verse this week was Psalm 145, verse 3. It's in the ICB, which is the International Children's Bible, which is a phenomenal translation of the Bible. We have about 30 more sitting in a closet that we can share with you. And Ron, before I go insane, will you unplug those flashing lights off the back wall? They are driving me absolutely wild and catching my attention. So, here is our verse. The Lord is great. He is worthy of our praise. No one can understand how great He is. See, the Lord is great. He is awesome. He is powerful. He is able, but He is also real and He is also present. He is worthy of our praise, and yet how often do we give our praise away to lesser things? We give our praise away to actresses and musicians, to politicians, and to sports teams. He is the one that is worthy of our praise. No one can understand how great He is. No one can understand. Do you believe that God is great? Do you believe that He is worthy of your praise? Do you believe that He is greater than your understanding? The most important thing a child needs, whether they are grown and gone out of the house, or whether they are tucked in every single night, most important influence in their life is their parent. And you have the opportunity to influence your children. You have the opportunity to influence those around you that you love, that you work with. You have the opportunity to influence them. And so I'm going to say something that you may get frustrated with, and that's okay. I believe it deeply. We must stop giving away spiritual leadership in our family to our children. What do I mean by that? We must stop as parents just chasing after wherever our kids want to go to church. We want them to go to church, yes, but also my 8-year-old would want to go anywhere if he could just get screen time, right? He's not necessarily the best judge of what's valuable to him. And so often, I hear this over and over again, that we go to that church, I don't really love it, but my kid is happy. Your kid doesn't need 1 to 2 hours a week at church. Your kid needs a parent that's growing, that is challenged, that is desiring God, and that is being equipped to lead them towards who God is and how great He is. You need to be in a place, not that just makes your kids happy, but that helps you know and follow Jesus better. It has been so easy in our culture to allow the kids to dominate. They dominate our Saturdays with sports teams. And if we go to church, they dominate our Sundays with which ministry they want to be a part of. We need to be very careful and not give them the spiritual leadership. We as parents need to step into that role and lead them, because we need to be growing and encouraged. That was my only controversial thing. You can disagree with me later. We're going to keep moving. Here's the deal. If you will take your faith seriously, those around you will notice. And more than a conversation in a classroom that they are having right now, you're going to have conversations at drop-off at school. You're going to have conversations at mealtime around the table. You're going to have conversations at bedtime. And guess what? They're going to notice that you're slower to anger, that you're showing them more love, that your kindness and compassion is coming out of you. They're going to feel it, and they're going to know why it matters. So, with that said, I want to finish out chapter 145. It talks about great is the Lord, greatly to be praised. But then, I'm going to read it in the ICB from the screen, so it's going to be a little bit different from mine. But listen to this. Parents will tell their children what you have done. They will retell your mighty acts. What's verse 5 say? wonderful majesty and glory, and I will think about your miracles. Verse 6 says this, they will tell about the amazing things that you do, and I will tell how great you are. And then we'll end in verse 7. It says, they will remember your great goodness, and they will sing about your fairness. When we understand that the Lord is great, greatly to be praised, no one can comprehend, we can't help but tell our kids and those that we love about who he is and why he matters. So I told you at the beginning of the morning that God is the best, is what we taught the kids. And so I want to just briefly run through what we taught them, because I think us adults need to hear it. Church, if you were with me, you're going to hear some of this from last week, but it's going to grow into it as well. So be patient with me. On Monday morning, the first thing that I taught our kids, we started in Genesis chapter 1, verse 1. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God. Oh, wait, that's John 1. Sorry. In the beginning, there was the heavens and the earth, and it was empty, and it was void, and it was darkness over the land. And then God spoke, let there be light. And then over the next 5 days, he said, let there be stars and moon. And he said, let there be separations of water, and let there be trees and vegetation and animals and birds in the air and fish in the sea. And then on the sixth day, see, every day at the end of the day, he would say it was good. And then on the sixth day, he said this. He said, I want to make man in my own image, man and woman, to bear my image, to be different, to be special than any other part of creation, for they can have a relationship with me. And then at that day, he says, it is very good. And so we hammered this point into your kids' heads. I promise you they can recite it to you. We said this over and over. I was made by God. It's going to come up on the screen for you in just a second. I was made by God, and everything God makes is good. It should be in green writing, those big points. If not, Suzanne, that's okay. I'll make us say it. I was made by God, and everything God makes is what? Good. God didn't mess up on you. I wish I'd have gotten about 5 more inches. I'm not greedy. I'd have taken 5'7". Some of you would rather a different body type, maybe a better heart, or stronger lungs, or skin that didn't itch, or my son's allergy to peanuts, which is really frustrating and difficult to deal with. But God didn't mess up on you. You will tell that to your kids when they go through middle school, I guarantee it. But will you believe that yourself? I was made by God, and everything God makes is good. Day 2, we taught the kids, and they showed it to you earlier. I can pray. Do it with me. I can pray to God. All right, we're going to start over because not everybody's doing it with me. Okay? Listen, I have danced this week. I don't dance. If I can dance, all right, then you can do this with me. I can pray to God anytime, anywhere, about anything. Do you believe that? Or do you believe that you're too small and too insignificant in God's eyes? Or do you believe that your problems are too big for him to handle? Do you fear that you just don't even go to him in prayer, and so you bottle up all this stress and exhaustion and fear and anxiety and depression, and you hold it all within you, and there is a God that is a loving Father that is saying to you, I want to help you. Ask, and you will receive. Bring me in on it. And yet we are the 3-year-olds saying what they all say, I can do it myself. We need to be reminded that I can pray to God anytime, anywhere, about anything. And God, just like you do when your kids need something, when they're asking, when they need help, you want to help them most of the time, all right? Sometimes they just keep asking, right? But think about how kids ask. They just do it. They don't get worried about it, right? I said last week in our service, I said, my kid will show up in the den while I'm trying to take a nap, and he'll say, Dad, can we go to Disney tomorrow? He's not concerned about work or flights or money or anything. He likes Disney. Why would he not ask? 5 minutes later, you know what he comes and asks for? Can I have some Oreos? He believes that I can give him what he wants, that I will give him what he wants, and that I want to give him what he wants. God can, will, and wants to give us what is good for us. But do we ask him? I think that we feel like our problems are too big or that we are too insignificant for him to care about. But he desires to hear from you. We must ask. Point 3, we learn that God is a rescuer. That I couldn't rescue myself. I'm not going to make y'all do it. I couldn't rescue myself, but God, but Jesus rescued me. We talked about getting lost and going down the path of selfishness and sinfulness. But with you guys, I want to remind you of a story of Jesus in the boat with his friends. They're called disciples. Jesus is in the boat, and he's asleep while they're going across the lake. And as they are going across the lake, a storm pops up. And now Jesus' friends are experienced fishermen. They know what they're doing on a boat. So they get to work. They're rowing harder. They're tending sails. While the waves are crashing over the side, they're getting pails of water and throwing them overboard. They know what to do until they realize this storm, and they don't know what to do in this storm because this storm is too great. And so they work harder and they row harder and they try harder and they're exhausting themselves, believing they can save themselves until they get to this point where they go, you know what, we got to go wake up Jesus. And they go to him and they shake him awake and they say, Jesus, we are dying. We will perish. Can you help us? Oh, you have little faith. And he speaks to the winds and the waves and they settle. Friends, you need rescuing. You need rescuing from the choices that you have made this week and last year and 10 years ago. You need rescuing from the ways that you have lived in rebellion from God, believing that you could do whatever you want. You need rescuing not just for all your past, but you need rescuing today from your burnout. You need rescuing today because your marriage is in shambles. You need rescuing today because your mental health struggles have overtaken your life and now you are incapacitated to do what you need to do. You need rescuing from your impossible pace of life that you're trying to live. You need rescuing from the situation that you are now in with your kids and how that relationship is severed. Will you look to the one who rescues you? He's not only the one who rescues you, but he also forgives you. And this was day 4's point. That God forgives me of anything and everything I do. God forgives me of anything and everything that I do. What does that mean? We talk about the gospel, we talk about the good news, we talk about what the church is about. Let me tell you, this is exactly what it's about. That Jesus came not just to make your life better, but to save you. That he came to save you. He lived a life that you could not live because you are a sinner. Maybe a small one and maybe a great one. I'm in the great category of sinners. But he came and lived a life that I could not live. He died in my place, receiving the punishment I deserved was put on him so that God now looks to punish him and to forgive me. And he rose again. Not only did he receive our punishment, but he rose again, defeating death, so that I can be forgiven, that I can be rescued, I can be restored with God. Do you believe that you can be forgiven of what you have done? Jesus on the cross didn't say too much, but twice he brings up forgiveness. Once is to a criminal on his side who was being killed because he was a problem in society and he was causing trouble, and he had caused so much trouble that his punishment now moves to death. This isn't a good guy. He is dying on the cross, and he tells the other criminal who is making fun of Jesus for not saving himself, he says, be quiet. He is the truth. He is the one that we should believe in. He is not dying because of anything he has ever done wrong. And Jesus says to that man, when he asks, will you remember me in your kingdom? Jesus says, truly I say to you, today you will be with me in paradise. But the most amazing example of Jesus' forgiveness for anything and everything that we have done is, again, as he is hanging on the cross, nails sticking through and ripping his skin down. Nails in between his legs, which there's a lot of bone right there that it has had to go through to stick him up on that cross, struggling to breathe, bleeding down his face because of the thorns. He looks out on the crowd who has whipped him and beat him, who has slandered him and made fun of him and mocked him, who has spat upon him. And he says, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. The forgiveness Jesus offers on the cross to those that are killing him is the forgiveness he is offering to you, if you will believe in him and trust that he can forgive it. That means your deepest and darkest secret that you never want exposed, Jesus has already died for, and you can be forgiven of. You can be forgiven of anything and everything that you have done. No one is beyond the grace of God. Whatever you feel is disqualifying you from being loved by God, whatever you fear has been too much wrong, is not too far gone. Whatever shame or guilt that you hold on to, Jesus has already been punished for it. That's what forgiveness is about. Your addiction, your anger, your lying, your cheating, your stealing, your manipulation of others, your abuse, your envy, your greed, not to mention sins of omission, your failure to love God with all of your heart, mind, soul, and strength, and your failure to love your neighbor as yourself. It is available to be redeemed, to be forgiven completely, slate wiped clean. And nowhere in the Bible does it say that you saved yourself. For by grace you are saved through faith. Not any works that you have done, but it is a gift of God. So hear this very clearly. You cannot lose what you did not earn. You didn't save yourself, and guess what? Every day I stumble, and I fail, and I fall. I can't keep myself saved. It is only because of what Jesus has done on the cross that I can be forgiven. You cannot disqualify yourself from what you never qualified yourself for. You cannot lose what you did not earn. The final thing I want to teach today was day 5. God is the best teacher. God teaches us the best way to live. I'm going to be very honest again. There's a lot of times in my life that I believe some other way is a better way to live. I have chased control and comfort. I have chased pleasure. I have chased finances, believing that they will satisfy. But they never fill the hole. They never satisfy. We believe the thoughts that if I had more money, a bigger house, or in that neighborhood, drive that car, marry that person, work that job, then life will be good. And guess what? It never settles down. It never gets easy. But God teaches us the best way to live. You and I have all looked to counselors and podcasts and self-help books, and now Instagram Reels is now our new psychologist. They tell us what to do. TikTok teaches us how we're supposed to live. But more than a business leader, more than a life coach, more than an entrepreneur or reading that book, what you need to understand is that God, through His Word, through His Spirit, and through His churches, He teaches you the best way to live. I taught it this way with our kids, and I think it'll make sense with you. I told them at 37 years old, I do not know how to make a paper airplane. Who in here also does not know how to make a paper airplane? Join the club. It's okay. All right. We're outnumbered, but that's okay. So then I told them, if I wanted to make a paper airplane, I need to find a good teacher that's probably not Miss Stacy Martin, because she doesn't know how to make a paper airplane. I'm not going to go to Sandy Schroeder, who doesn't know how to paper airplane, and say, hey, Sandy, teach me how to do it. It doesn't make any sense. I got to go to somebody that knows how to make a paper airplane, right? Because I need a good instructor. We had a fun little debate. Should you go to a kid or should you go to an adult? They like to go to kids. That's okay. But then, and here's what you and I do more than they do, the kiddos do. Here's what we do. We ask 3 or 4 people to teach us simultaneously. And you know what? If step 1 of Carlin's is to fold it hot dog style, and step 1 of Samuel's is to fold the corner, and step 1 of Carrie's is to crease the back, what happens is, the way we spend our life is we're trying to do all these things that we feel like we should be doing, and there's pressure to do them all because we have to be the best mom, the best parent, the best husband, the best spouse, the best uncle, the best son, the best everything, the best worker, the best neighbor, the best friend. And what happens is we hear all of these things and we fold it this way and we fold it hot dog style and we fold the corner, but oh wait, we were supposed to let go of the corner. And what happens is our life becomes a crumpled mess. And a crumpled mess doesn't fly. And we're exhausted. And we're overwhelmed. And we don't know which one to start on first, but we know we're not doing enough. We know that we are failing, and we try to do it all at one time, and it just becomes a crumpled mess. God did not design us, nor does He have a plan for us to live a life that feels impossible, to live at a pace that is unsustainable. He teaches us the best way to live. His rules are not just random restrictions to make you have a miserable life. His rules are for your good. The way I taught this to your kids is this. What are you not supposed to do? The lifeguard has blown their whistle at every single one of us and said, no, what? Running. Why? The lifeguard doesn't want to slow us down from getting into the pool. The lifeguard doesn't want to make us stay on the side for 2 more seconds. The lifeguard knows that if we are running and the pool deck is wet, that we are prone to slip, fall, bust our head, right? And the second we bust our head and blood is coming out, guess what? How much more swimming we're doing? None. No running at the pool is a rule for your safety and for your good. The rules of God are for your safety and for your good. We don't like restrictions. We like autonomy. The rules of God are for your safety and for your good. Do we believe that? Do we believe that His rules of finances, of marriage, of sexuality, of love and kindness, do we believe that they are good and for our good? Are you guided in your parenting, in your finances, in your marriage by God or by culture? So, let me end here. God is the best, not just for your kids, but for you. God is the best, not just for eternity, but for every single day. I'm not talking about some distant reality, but the present moment. In your times of trouble, in your exhaustion, in your being overwhelmed, in you not knowing what to do, and you having to answer questions your kids have that you don't know the answer to, and you trying to parent them through a godless generation, it's hard. But will you look to Him? Because He's not just a God of forever, He's a God of today. And today matters to Him. If you want your kids to believe that God is the best, you need to start living like it's true for you. Because you are the most important influence on your child and on those that you love. So here's my challenge. I'm going to end with a challenge for you. If you already have a church home where you are loved and serving and connected and known, that's awesome. Thank you for joining us this week. Thank you for coming this Sunday to let your kids show off what they've done. We love that you're here. But if you have a place that maybe you at most sporadically attend, or a place that you say, yeah, if we went to church, we'd go there, now I challenge you to really consider where's a place that you can go. I believe we're here for you. This is why we're here in the community. And I'll be honest, your kids already like us, or you wouldn't be here today, right? Or you wouldn't have come again this year. But here's my challenge that everybody can hear. You pick the place where it makes sense to do it for you. One, as we step into August 3rd is next Sunday. A new month, a month that's creating new rhythms in your family and in your household as school begins, as summer settles down and life gets back to normal, which we are very appreciative of. I challenge you, especially for those that don't really feel like God matters much in their life or they haven't seen him matter. Attend 5 straight weeks, not 5 sporadically throughout the year. Attend 5 straight weeks. If at the end of those 5 weeks you go, that did nothing for me, I saw nothing, email me and tell me. That's fine. But I challenge you, especially if you feel like, I don't know what's going on in my life. I'm living at an impossible pace. I'm fearful and anxious and depressed. I don't know what to do. Finances are in struggles. Attend 5 straight weeks to a church. We'd love it to be here, but wherever you need to go. The second challenge I have for you is this. Engage God in prayer throughout the week. Engage God in prayer this week. Like a kid, ask him the things that you need. Quit feeling too insignificant and feeling like your problems are too big. Pray this week. Number 3, challenge. For those of you that have kids, pray with your children at mealtime and at bedtime. It may feel really awkward if that's not something you normally do. Pray with your children at mealtime and bedtime. Pray with them. Show them that God is the best for you as well. And finally, number 4, connect with God's word throughout the week. Have something that is keeping you with God in mind during the week. One thing that we offer as a church, whether you attend or not, Jamie Grace's mom told me, she picks these up. We have a daily devotional that goes out to your email at 6 a.m. every single morning. On the back of your bulletin, there's a QR code. If you didn't grab a bulletin, there's more sitting out there. There's a QR code. If you don't know where to start with God, every morning I write about 400 words of something to help you think about God. There's a Bible verse, there's a challenge, sometimes there's a way to act it out. Not like in motions, but like live it out. But will you engage God throughout the week? Your church, your pastor, your priest cannot be the only time that you connect with God. I'm not holy enough to give you enough refill till next Sunday comes by. I can't hold you over Sunday to Sunday or Sunday and then a month from now to Sunday. You need to be connecting with God daily. Praying, reading his word, asking for help, thinking about him, and then being refilled in the church. That's my challenge. If you want your spiritual life to change, great. But here's what I really say. If you want your parenting to change, do this. If you want your relationship with your spouse to change, do this. If you want your mental health to change, do this. If you want there to be peace in your life where you feel complete chaos, do this. Give me 5 weeks of focused, faithful activity. I fully believe it will change your life. Let's stop playing around with Jesus and let's start taking him serious. Let me pray for us.